I don't think I played good. I don't think I played good at all. I think it's a lot of things, we need to look at, during the week and go and just get comfortable even throwing routes, with Jerry and throwing routes with all those guys. So I think that was my first ball to him all year. But other than that, I just think overall we just got to go next week and understand so then we have a week to prepare stuff I like to do.
Wait, anything could possibly go wrong that you want to get Shedeur like 1 reps with the ones, 2 reps with the ones. I ain't saying split it 50-50. I understand that. But even when John was taking the majority of the reps, John, if we did 10 reps in a period, the backup would take 2. Just in case.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you believe they told me that I would never make it? Now we smiling in their faces, smiling in their faces.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Tyler Rose TV. For today's video, we got something to go over that's been trending. It's regarding something different, football, but we do have an NFL insider here, joining the show today, so stay tuned for that. But without further ado, let's get into this clip of Cam Newton and what he had to say about Shedeur Sanders and his coach sabotaging him here, of course, on the last game that he just played in on Sunday. But before we get into that clip, I do want to read off what his stats that he put up that night. We have 4 for 16, 47 yards, 1 interception, and I believe a few sacks.
I've said this before and I'll say it again. I do not think Kevin Stefanski wants Shedeur Sanders to succeed in Cleveland. The reason being is, don't tell me what he said, don't tell me what he's saying. I'm going off of actions. All right, let's go off actions. The actions is, if I'm Shedeur or if I'm a Shedeur Sanders fan, I would not want him to take the field because that's going to consistently be the display we're going to see. It doesn't matter if it's Deshaun Watson. It doesn't matter if it's Shedeur Sanders. It doesn't matter if it's Dylan Gabriel. It doesn't matter if it's Dan Orlovsky. It doesn't matter if it's Cam Newton. You need help in Cleveland when you have a quarterback that's still making $46 million on your roster and he's not healthy. That impacts the talent that's around him. They are not a good team. Right. But this is the thing that really irks me the most, is because he doesn't get any reps. Circa 2015, circa when Cam Newton was the MVP, circa when, hey, my backup for majority of my career was probably the biggest blessing of my career to have a veteran in Derek Anderson. Ron Rivera still knew we're 1 play away, kid, from you not being available. We would have anywhere from 6 to 12 reps in every single practice that allowed Derek to still have an ability to say, hey, if it goes, how it goes. Now, granted, some will say, well, Cam, you played the position any different. Well, what is that to say about Brock Purdy? Well, what is that to say about any other quarterback that's here? You plan for the what-ifs in this league. You don't know if you're going to have your quarterback. What about Joe Burrow? So for him to not have any reps, for him to have this to be his first time that he's taking first-team reps where individuals don't even know your snap count or your cadence, that is like, yo, bro, what are we doing here? Like, you don't control the team's whole overall existence by not allowing individuals to get better. As a head coach, you are responsible for these things. You are responsible for how your team operates and executes, and you also are responsible for each player's development. If you're not developing players, no matter if it's a starter, a free agent, or a second-round player or third-round player, you're not doing your job. Kevin Stefanski, bro, that's unacceptable, and I'm going to tell you that on national TV. That's a fileable offense for so many other reasons because, like, what are we doing? You're not developing the guys right, and you're putting all your eggs in Dylan Gabriel? Come on, dog.
So joining us is Peterson. He's an NFL insider. He's played football at a high level, and he's also been around the game for a long time. You've seen the clip. You've seen what Cam Newton had to say. Is the coach really sabotaging Shedeur? Is this typically, what happens with fifth-round quarterbacks, right? Like, he's not getting reps in. Is that normal for a fifth rounder or a backup not to get these reps in? What are your thoughts on that? And of course, we got more to get into after this.
Ooh, so I think honestly, it's more of a politics thing. They're both rookies, so at the end of the day, they both should get reps. At the end of the day, too, I think it's above Kevin, the coach. It's more of a GM thing. So I think after they both got drafted, I think it was solidified that Dylan was going to be the starter no matter what happened in camp. So I honestly, I believe Shedeur had a great training camp. But at the end of the day, I think they wanted to go with Dylan as a starter for, honestly, reasons that don't really make sense in terms of like skill and playing level. I think they're both basically the same quarterback right now because they're both rookies. And I've watched Dylan play this season and he didn't really impress me. And I think Shedeur is basically on his same level, if not better. Obviously, he didn't do that great, but since he hasn't been starting with the first team, you can't really expect him to be on the same page with his teammates because he hasn't really done anything with them. He's been with the second team and the scout team, so you can't really put any blame on him for the performance. But I would say it's more of a situation where they never wanted Shedeur to start in the first place because they never gave him the reps with the starters to begin with.
So at no point in time, so you don't think Dylan Gabriel could possibly get hurt? He can't possibly bring a knee, bring a shoulder, get concussion. There's no possible way anything could possibly go wrong that you want to get Shedeur like 1 reps with the ones, 2 reps with the ones. I ain't saying split it 50-50. I understand that. But even when John was taking the majority of the reps, John, if we did 10 reps in a period, the backup would take 2. Just in case.
Okay. And on that topic, with quarterbacks, with reps, right, there's, a famous comeback story, quarterback Kurt Warner, who was on Twitter, and he had this to say about reps. So Kurt Warner said, everywhere I was, the backup really got number 1 reps. I wanted all the reps when I was the number 1. And if a backup got any, it was a couple at the end of different periods. What are your thoughts on that? Is Kurt Warner wrong? Is Cam Newton right? I mean, Cam Newton saying, Coach Rivera was like, we knew that something can go down at any point in time. But my thing is it like this because Shedeur is a 5th rounder, and if I'm not mistaken, Deshaun Watson is usually the quarterback that's starting, right? So I guess Dylan Brooks, I watch too much basketball. I guess the backup quarterback, Shedeur, will be like a 3rd string. So is that the reason why you think that might be the case here, or what are your thoughts on this?
To be honest, I think they're both right, but with talking about Kurt's opinion on this, he was honestly backup himself. He was a journeyman. He was playing in the Canadian Football League before he got his first shot. So I think if he was in this situation, he would be mad that he didn't get reps too. So for him to say that he rarely saw that the backup got reps, rarely basically means that they got reps at all, but Shedeur hasn't gotten any. So he should be honestly arguing that Shedeur should get his reps too, because he's been in that situation where he was an underdog and didn't have many people believing in him. So he should honestly be in favor of a fellow quarterback himself. So for him to say that, it's just, honestly, it's hating, because why draft a quarterback if you're not going to give him reps, especially if he's competing with a fellow rookie, So I don't think it's a situation where Dylan wasn't starting last year because he wasn't even in the NFL. Shedeur wasn't starting because he wasn't in the NFL. So why not give them both, similar reps at the end of the day, because you're trying to figure out who is the better quarterback. And I don't think they have the answer anyway, so they might as well figure things out rather than just give someone 100% of the reps.
Okay. Now, I got another question for you. So I see here, doing a little research, it says the Ravens haven't allowed a 20-point, more than 20 points for their opponents all season. So given that nature, given the fact that Shedeur hasn't had any number 1 reps and hasn't really had any reps, I guess, with the team since training camp, coming into a game like this, how he performed, what did you assess for him? I see him going back a lot in the pocket, of course. What was your assessment of his game? Do you think he is a quarterback in the NFL, or do you think he is living off of maybe just the hype of from his collegiate background? From what I've known, I've seen a lot of people critique the guy and say, hey, listen, he didn't show up in the big games. I guess whenever there was a bowl game, he didn't play well against bigger, better teams maybe. What are your thoughts on that, and on his performance, and then thoughts on his collegiate career? Is he riding the wave of his father and then his collegiate career? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, he made a couple of good throws, but he really didn't have like the time to prepare because he didn't work with the first team. So that's an issue. But I think obviously he has things to work on, as does Dylan at the end of the day, because they're both rookies. But I think the one thing that he really could probably work on in the future is probably just shortening that drop back, because when he does get that pressure and he does get sacked, it does create an issue because he's going to lose more yardage, and an experienced quarterback wasn't really taking that deep drop back. So they aren't allowing the defenders to kind of push them far back in the field. But obviously that can be corrected. And I think that probably could have been corrected in the offseason if they would have given him more reps with the first team. Mm-hmm. But I think at the end of the day, if they drafted him, if they intend to play him at some point, they need to give him those reps, and he can work on those things. Obviously now they have film to show him, hey, this is what you did wrong, and here's how we're going to change it. So if they play him this week, which it looks like he is going to play this week because Dylan is in concussion protocol. So if he does get that start again, he'll just have more reps and he'll have more film to watch and things to, work on and improve on. So he's not just in those meetings, just watching Dylan's film and not really knowing what's going on and how to improve his game because he has nothing to watch. But now he is getting the opportunity, which he was going to get anyway. Controversially, he was going to get these starts in the year anyway, but I think he should have been getting more reps earlier in the season, but it is what it is. But I think he can improve on what he did this past Sunday with some more time on the field, obviously, and just, some better coaching. I think he's been kind of ignored at this point, but now that he's a starter, he's going to get some more time with the first team, and he's going to be able to, talk with the coaches, be in the game plan, and he's going to be more engaged too. That's just going to help him in the future. And then when Dylan comes back, we'll see if he's going to keep that starting position or if they're just going to switch it up again. But
and do you think that Shedeur is an NFL quarterback? Do you think he has the potential, or do you think what are your thoughts on that?
He has the potential. He definitely can make those throws. There's been a lot of quarterbacks who are his height, weight, who probably didn't really have the arm strength and potential that he does. But I think with some time and some work, I think he can be better, at least better than Dylan. So I think he can at least start for the Browns at some point full time and go from there, really. I don't know if he wants to be in Cleveland full time like the rest of his career, but I think he can at least start here because the Browns, at the end of the day, aren't a great organization anyway. They should be thankful that anybody wants to play for them at this point. They're not winning any Super Bowls anytime soon. So this is they're always rebuilding. So they might as well just take a chance with Shedeur at the end of the day because he's just going to get better as time goes on anyway.
Okay. Now, last question I got for you, right? I see a lot of people saying if Shedeur Sanders was any other quarterback in the NFL, that he would receive the same criticism as he's receiving right now. Do you agree? Do you think his father has something to do with it? I heard that Shedeur said that he was a better quarterback than some of the quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Are you familiar with that quote? Have you seen that as well, or?
Yes, I have. I will be honest. I think if Shedeur could go back, he probably wouldn't have said as much as he said, pre-draft, because I think it kind of hurt his stock. I think he probably could have went in the second round if he just didn't say anything and just went through the process, as so his dad. But I think his dad, Dion, was just trying to maybe be too in control of the situation and trying to control where he went, which is pretty tough to do, honestly, controlling exactly where you're going to get drafted. Obviously, people can have ultimatums and make threats like, hey, if you draft me, I'm not going to play. So you're going to have to trade me or release me. But that didn't really work in this situation. So I think if they can go back, they probably wouldn't have done as much trying to strong arm teams, and he probably wouldn't have gotten drafted sooner anyway.
Okay. Great. Well, listen, it's been nice having you, man. Yeah, Reyes do so. Hey, listen, it's been nice for you to join. You'll see Peterson's face more here when I do discuss football and all things NFL related. If you guys are new to the channel and you like what you've seen in this video, I hope I earned your subscribe. And I hope y'all can hit that subscribe and hit the bell so you can get notified when I make a new video. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.